we had an unfortunate event that happened in Detroit, the Southwest flooding. Pipe broke, burst in the Southwest area. For me, we had to market it and showcase the work being done to fix it in real time. I had to go to hotels where families were staying, kids, family, everything. Had to be staying in a hotel because their homes got flooded. So I'm here in hotels seeing it in real time action while also marketing it. And that made me fall in love with my job even more again, because it's just like you saw the impact. Sometimes being behind a desk, being in the office, you don't always see the impact of marketing unless you're there sometimes.
This episode is brought to you by our friends at Bamboo. Yes, I am sitting in the podcast room at the Bamboo Detroit location right now, which is where you have seen a ton of the Black Fridays podcast episodes. And the reason that is because Bamboo has been Black Friday's creative hub for the last couple of years. However, it's much more than our creative HQ. It's home to hundreds of entrepreneurs, creators, thinkers, and doers just like yourself. Now, whether you need a private suite that's customized to your liking so that you can effectively get work done, or if you need a space to be able to host a meeting or a conference call, Bamboo has flexible, creative spaces and a supportive community to match. Now, if you don't get anything from this message, I need you to do this right here. Go ahead, click the link to check out Bamboo's selection of private suites at any of their locations. That's right, any of their Bamboo co-work locations. And you can also find a link in the show notes as well to get those details. And it's time for you, yeah, that's right, you, to join the Bamboo community. That's it. Time to get into the show. What up, though, Black Friday family? Welcome back to another installment of the Black Fridays podcast. Before we get into today's episode, I need you to make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, drop a comment, send some videos to family, friends, and loved ones. Let's keep this thing going. Now that I got that business out of the way, I have another amazing guest for you all today. We got Mr. Alex Ennis in the building. How are you?
Doing well. Pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. Thankful for you pulling up on us on Black Fridays today.
No
and
problem.
To start by your title, I want to make sure that we get a firm understanding of what it is that you do. You are the digital media manager for the city of Detroit. Now, explain to me, like I'm a 5-year-old, what that means in terms of digitally managing content for the city of Detroit.
Digitally managing content for the city of Detroit. So I'm essentially responsible for all content across all platforms that go across the city of Detroit, whether it may be social media, cable, web, or mailer. Any piece of content that goes across all platforms, my team is essentially responsible for the creation, the implementation, the marketing of all of those content that going across all the 4 different platforms.
And what does that look like for working in a government-focused entity like the city of Detroit?
It looks like being very politically conscious of everything that you push out, being very cautious of just everything that you push out from a messaging standpoint. Make sure we're fine-tuning the messaging, make sure the messaging matches everything so the Detroit public is not on alert, making sure the information is right. So from our standpoint, we're here to engage and inform the public. Of course, it's still social media. Of course, it's still entertainment at the end of the day. So we're still able to entertain, but our main goal is to engage the Detroit audience. So our brand is called Engage Detroit.
Mm-hmm. And that hasn't always been the case with the city of Detroit. So I'm a lifelong Detroiter, and I know that you have. We've adopted you over the years as a Detroiter as well. But that I can tell you right now that hasn't always been the case. So what opened the doorway for the city of Detroit content and that municipal content to be more engaging and like infotainment versus just the straight cut and dry.
So I would say from that standpoint, that was spearheaded by Mary Duggan and our director, Jasmine Barnes. They had a focus, an in-depth focus to engage the audience, because before it was social media, it was a lot of fluff content just to get it out there. But there was also the prior team, they were doing a bunch of things that were going viral, but then they wanted to go in a different direction. Like, hey, we still want to go viral, but let's also engage the audience about what's going on in the rec centers, what's going on in the community, what's going on all across Detroit. Because for us, Engage Detroit is the brand, but how do you engage the residents that live here and still don't know about the resources that are available here? So our brand became very, very keen in on engaging the Detroit audience, not just from a fun standpoint, but from a resource. What programs are there? What startups are there? What Motor City Match, what's going on in the community that Detroiters that live here, born and raised here, are not aware of. So, and also, how do you engage people that are not from Detroit to know what's going on in Detroit? So Engage Detroit was just a brand that was born to just flourish and kind of engage Detroiters, but also non-Detroiters.
Very dope. And what progression have you seen in terms of that engagement and people being more informed and understanding content and different things that's going on in the city? How are you all looking at that? And then like, how has that developed since you've been with the city of Detroit?
So that metric for us is kind of dictated on the programs being filled up. So if we're engaging Detroit about rec centers, then we follow up with the General Services Department or Parks and Rec to see from this promotion, did y'all get all the signups that y'all needed for rec centers? So in engaging Detroit, the signups were there for these communities. The signups were there for these rec centers. Signups were there for these programs to kind of be affiliated and be a part of it. So from us, of course, it's cool to see the metrics, to see 1 million followers, 1,000 followers, whatever the case may be. But from our standpoint, Engage Detroit is there to really impact the residents, impact the community. So we also based our metrics on how many signups, how many people are providing access to these programs. So that's how Engage Detroit is kind of a full in totality metrics, but also the engagement aspect of the actual programs.
Very dope. So, Alex, let's have some fun on Black Fridays. My favorite part is Freestyle Friday.
Freestyle Friday.
Hey, listen, thank you all so much for listening to this episode and any episode of the Black Fridays podcast. But I got to be honest with y'all, I really think it's something missing, and I hate that y'all didn't notice it. The thing that's missing is your podcast. Why am I not listening to your podcast? You talked about making one with your friends years ago. You know that you need one to better market and promote your business, but yet you still don't have one. This is why I created the Pocket Podcasting course, to teach you how to be able to podcast with the essentials and tools that you have right at your fingertips in order to create. And I created 2 different ways in order for you to do that. You could join my digital do-it-yourself on-demand video recorded Pocket Podcasting course, where I go literally step by step from idea on how you upload your very first podcast episode. And for my people who like to have something a little bit more tangible, I have created a digital ebook that walks you through my podcasting journey, the things I've learned along the way, the tools and equipment that I use in order to create and elevate my show. Now, look, I don't want to keep you too long, but I'm going to make this as simple as possible. Go ahead and head over to www.blackfridayspod.com to learn more about the digital podcast course and also the podcasting ebook, or you can hit the links in the show notes to take you directly to each of those resources. All right, enough of that. Time to get back into the episode. So, Freestyle Fridays, we're going to need some bars from you. We're going to need some, I heard you say you was a poet before we start recording. Yeah. You might have a poem or 2 for us.
I don't have a freestyle, but I can do a poem.
Okay, we can do that.
I got a poetry page, @AnnisAlex_poetry. Let me do something that's a little fresh. Okay.
We getting an exclusive? Never been heard before?
I would have said we've heard before. It's on my page, but I'm going to do one that's meaningful, I would say.
For sure.
So let's go with time. Time. Days spent wandering, countless thoughts swirling around, nights spent drowning, minds like waves crashing down, the dreams of what could and couldn't be, a thought of endless possibilities, 1,000 battles fought daily, a war no one knows, silent but scary. The abundance of time is quite the contrary, the past, the present, all versus the future, perception versus reality, walking through life with no tutor, always racing for what's next, never stopping to notice. Time is simply the effort made with every step. So that's just something for me in a moment in time, just always reflecting, like, be in the now, be in the present. Like, we all, comparison is a thief of joy, but we are just always comparing, always trying to see what's next. But sometimes just standing 10 toes down where you're at can help you make that next pivotal step. So for me, I'm not from Detroit, but Detroit has helped to grow the man I am today. But also being realizing, like, where I'm at right now is a pivotal role in my future book. Like, this chapter is called Detroit. I don't know what the next chapter will be, but let me just lock in on this chapter.
Yeah, and so with what you said in the poem, you're trying to make sure that you have your feet on the ground and living in this experience currently, and not too far ahead or
not too far
staying
ahead.
in the past.
Like, still being proactive with life,
For
but
sure.
also still being in the moment, because sometimes you can miss the moment by looking too far.
Facts. So I got to ask you a few in terms of Freestyle Friday, a few Detroit questions.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to know what I'm sure you've been to Coney Island or
Okay.
you had a Coney dog or
Yep,
whatever, chili
yep.
cheese fries. So what's your favorite thing? What's your Coney order? I should say is what I ask people.
Oh, what's my Coney order? So people may not resonate or like this. I'm not a big Coney dog. I don't really like hot dogs, so I just keep it simple. I just grab some wings and fries. I'm gonna be honest. Like I don't like chili and I don't like hot dogs. So y'all combine two things I don't like. So when I told all my friends from Detroit, they're like, get out of here. But I don't like hot dogs. I don't like chili. So I just keep it simple. Some wings and fries, little bev, nothing crazy.
For sure. What's your favorite? Do you have like a hidden gem in the city that you enjoy, or like a little spot you like to go to?
I really do. So it's a spot in Brightmoor. I know it's in the hood. I know it's a little controversial, but it's called Brightmoor Family Grill. So I'm born and raised Jamaican. I moved to America when I was 14, and it's owned by a Jamaican that's over there. And that food is slapping. It's called Brightmoor Family Grill. It's in the heart of Brightmoor, and it's like that. That food is like one of the best authentic food I've had since being in Detroit. Because I've lived in 7 different states, and since I've been in Detroit, I think because I cook a lot, but from my assumption, Brightmoor Family Grill is one of those hidden gems that need to get a little bit more notoriety. I've been praising them to my team, so Brightmoor Family Grill.
And when we had met, you had mentioned them to me, and I still been trying to get over there. I gotta go find time to
because every time I meet somebody, they're like, "What's the best Jamaican spot?" I know you cook, but what's the best? I'm like Brightmoor Family Grill. So another spot I just went to most recently is called Jerk at Night.
Okay.
They're a good spot too, but I like Brightmoor Family Grill for sure.
Nice. So I want to get you in trouble, but do you spend more time on the west side or the east side?
A little bit of both. Bit of both. So I try to find new things and try to find Detroit because I work downtown. But for me, I'm like I need to expand my horizons in Detroit because I'm a big believer in like familiarity. I go where I'm familiar. Like I go to Central Kitchen. I go to Floods. I go to like some of these places where I know people there. I go to like the Godfrey where I know people there. I know the bartenders. I know the things. So my friends have been like, hey, let's step out your comfort zone. Let's try these new places. Empire. These new places. It's like Parlay. I just opened up. Good spot. So I just been trying new places outside of downtown and just trying to branch out. So I spent a little bit of both.
Would you be surprised if I told you that I only recently went to Floods for the first time within the last year?
I wouldn't. It's a older demographic that normally circulates Floods, but it's a vibe. Like in all my friend groups, I'm the youngest one. So I've always hung out with older individuals. People always think I'm older than what I am. So just the way I'll come across. But Floods is a good time. You'll be into the aunties and uncles. But you'll have a good time. You'll have a good time.
For sure. And the food is good. That's where we went.
And the bartender's heavy-handed. So you'll get your money's worth.
For sure. Well, thank you for partaking in Freestyle Fridays. We appreciate it. We got a poem, and we got to learn what you have been able to explore when it comes to Detroit so far. So I would love to be able to start. So as you mentioned, that you're not from here, you're from Jamaica, from Kingston, and so like you're literally the second person in life I've ever met from Kingston. I would just like to be able to learn more about what that journey was like. You say you moved here when you were 14, and what that trajectory was like growing up in Kingston and then coming to the U.S. and how that path kind of set you towards your trajectory to the city of Detroit.
Yeah, so growing up in Jamaica, I grew up to our only parent, my mom. Raised me by herself, strong black woman. Shout out to her. And she just had a vision for me. Jamaica is a very niche place in terms of success. You only can get successful by doing certain things in terms of doctor, lawyer, like the normal pathways. If you're not in that pathway, it's kind of challenging. So for her, she had a vision. Rest in peace to my grandpa. He filed for us to come to the States and come for a better life. So my mom one day was like, hey, we're going to be moving to America. So we went through, took the test, had to study for the test, all that stuff. Got to America when I was 14. I moved to New York. I've lived in 7 states since being here. I lived in New York, New Jersey, Kansas, Maryland, Louisiana, Ohio, and now Michigan. And just since coming here, America has been just an interesting space because I've always kept my roots from Jamaica because Jamaica was my foundation. Like teaching me, that's my foundation to help me to build who I am today walking into a room, always saying good morning, walking into a room, always texting somebody, always saying certain things that you're mindful of, some certain cultural norms. But coming to America, it showed me like America is the land of opportunity. Like people say it all the time, but as an outsider coming here, like y'all have it so differently. Like you can be a YouTuber making more than a doctor. You can do certain things where just like that pathway is not always accessible. Now the internet has kind of exposed that pathway to a lot of people. But coming to America has really like helped molded me. Fun fact, I am 6'10", but coming to America, I was about 14, 6'4". I was looking for the soccer coach. Y'all call it soccer, I call it football. Ran into the basketball coach by accident, and he's just like, son, you don't need to find a soccer coach. You ever play basketball? I'm like, nah. He's like, well, you play it today. Got into basketball. I hated it at first. I sucked. Lived in New York. He brought me to all the parks. He's like, he's going to teach you toughness. Went to the parks. They would pick me first because they think I'm good. And I started playing. They're like, oh, he sucked. Get him off the court. Started molding me. I got better. But long story short, I was able to go to school for free just by playing college basketball. I got 3 degrees, my associates, my bachelor's, my master's. I got 2 from 2 HBCUs. Shout out to Morgan State University and shout out to Southern University where I got my master's. But by saying that, my mom's vision for me was coming to America to get a better opportunity for her only child to be successful, even though she sacrificed her education because she was in the process of getting some of her degrees. She sacrificed her degrees for mine so I could get my degrees. And in return, I could sacrifice some nights, weekends, and certain things to be better at basketball so she could not have to pay for school. So in full totality, I kind of achieved a little piece of the American dream, but I'm still hungry for more. I'm still hungry for certain things. So that's why now in my career, I'm never quitting. I'm never stopping because I'm just like, I have to repay her. Like she did a lot. So for me, in totality, America was a stomping ground for me to come here and bite a piece of that American dream.
Absolutely. And tell me, what was the pivot like in terms of, so you mentioned you were a former athlete and then also, and I'll take former, I don't know if you're still hooping or not, but
every Sunday, so still got to stay in shape.
Yeah, exactly. So still active. So athlete, and then also you mentioned your education. Where did the pivot come from for you to do digital media? Was that something that was always of interest to you, or did it just come along in terms of career and opportunities later down the line? Like, did you always see yourself being in the space?
So no, I'm gonna be honest. This was my third option. So originally, my first option, passion project was a chef. I'm like, Ma, I want to become a chef. She looked at me with a straight face, was like, they don't make no money. No. She was like, you too tall, they don't make no money, you gonna be a tall chef? I'm like, Ma, that's all I love. She's like, you can do that on the side. You need to find a career path that's gonna make you some money, that's gonna make you be successful. Not to say they're not successful chefs, right, but she was being a mother. She's looking out for me.
Yep.
So she was just like, nah, like that can be a passion. You can always do it on the side and be it as a hobby, but as a main project, nah. Not to say she would shoot my dreams or anything, but she just was looking out for her son. So my next option was just like, all right, what else is out there? Okay. Ooh, I love a challenge. I love being able to eloquently speak and be able to like back with facts. I want to become a lawyer. Started doing that, started really researching, doing certain things younger, watching movies. And then I realized like law wasn't for me because it's just like it's not a lot of, I haven't met an honest lawyer yet. So it's just like you started meeting certain things and it's like starting realizing certain things and it's like, ooh, I don't think I'm cut out for law because for whatever you do, it got to be something that you do to the core. Like for me, I'm a very direct person. Like you gonna know where you stand with me, left or right. I'm not two-faced. I'm not someone that's say something, but I'm gonna say it to your face. Either we're gonna have a problem or not. But you gonna know where we stand. Law was something where I'm just like, it's a lot of shiesty. So I'm just like, not my scenery. So then I fell into marketing just one day watching a movie and just realized, I forgot the name of the movie I was watching, but I was watching like, why was he in that scene holding the can where you can see the Pepsi logo? Why did they cut to that building? Like I realized, it's product placement. And then I researched the back end. Oh, they're helping to sponsor this movie, so that's why they had to show. And I was like, you can kind of twist the way someone purchase things just by how you market it to them. And then I started looking at the things I'm wearing, and I started really analyzing. I'm like, why did I actually buy this? Oh, I saw this Nike commercial. Why do I love these shoes so much? Oh, because this is the hottest thing. They told us it was the hottest thing, so that's why I wanted to purchase it. I'm like, oh, marketing. Like, it's psychology, but it's marketing. Like, you're influencing how people think by how you market it to them. So I'm just like, oh, I want to do that. Like, I want to be able to influence something by how I market it. The way I market it whether it's going to be purchased or not, but the way I market it is going to help to justify the product or not. So that's how I fell in love with marketing. I started researching, doing all that things, and that's when I found my passion. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get my master's in marketing. I'm gonna be in marketing programs, I'm gonna be in marketing courses, that. And that's I didn't fall in love with digital marketing. I didn't fall in love with digital media. I fell in love with marketing. So that's what I went to school for. End up getting an internship with Rocket Mortgage while I was in grad school at Southern University. I was an intern for Casey Herbis. He used to be the CMO, the Chief Marketing Officer of Rocket Mortgage. Now he's the CMO of BetMGM. So for us, I was his personal intern. So imagine being at a HBCU, and now you're the personal intern for the CMO of a Fortune 500 company called Rocket Mortgage. I'm over here like, I need to soak up this game, everything I can, because not many HBCU students get this. Because most of the intern class I came with was all the Wolverines or the Spartans. I'm just like, and when I said MSU, they're like, MSU, which Michigan State? I'm like, nah, Morgan State. I'm like, HBCU pride.
The real
MSU. They're like, nah, stop saying MSU. I'm like, nah, I'm gonna keep saying it because it's MSU, but we in Michigan, Morgan State. So long story short, I was his intern, soaked up the game from him because I already had a passion for marketing. Then I started working with that man of just like soaking up the game. He was marketing everything from my pen to the Super Bowl. So I was his intern, seeing everything being marketed from my pen to our Super Bowl. I fell in love with marketing even more. Got a chance to work on the Super Bowl commercials with certain things, with Jason Momoa, with Tracy Morgan. These Super Bowl commercials that went number one and number two at Rocket Mortgage, where they spent so much millions of dollars on Super Bowl commercials. Got a chance to do that. After I graduated, he was just like, "Hey, Alex, we'd love to offer you a full-time opportunity." I'm like, "Oh," and this was during COVID. I graduated December 11, 2020, during COVID. And during that time, opportunities were scarce. So I'm like, yes, let me get that. So I took the opportunity, graduated. I was virtual for like the first 8 months because it was still COVID. So I went back to live with my mom after college. She was in Ohio at the time, lived with her for 8 months. And after coming back to live with your moms after being in college free for like 6 years, me and my mom started having tips that we never had before. Started having little small arguments that we never had before. I'm just like, because I was away so long. I was living on my own. Now I'm back under my mom's roof. We have to follow certain rules. So then 8 months in, he's just like, would you love to move to Detroit? I'm like, I never thought about it. But being at home right now, yeah, you know what? I'm going to go give this career a chance. End up coming to Detroit. All my family thought I was crazy. They're like, they heard so much bad things about Detroit. Why are you going to Detroit? That's not safe. I'm like, believe. Let's just believe. I'm going to make it. Got to Detroit. It was nothing like people said it was. I was like, oh, I thought this was going to be like abandoned buildings. It was nothing like people said. And I got to Detroit. I'm just like, oh, I'm going to make this a hub for myself to be at least a launching pad. I don't know if I'm going to be here long term, but it's a launching pad. I might be or I might not, but I'm not going to put my eggs in one basket. Got to Detroit. I was at Rocket for about 2.5, 3 years. Rocket started going through a little bit of downsizing. They were letting people go left and right. They were offering buyout packages. So then they're like, Alex, they offered it to everybody. And I was going through like the structure. I'm just like, right now I'm still in an entry level role. Right now, some of my entry level counterparts got let go. I don't want to be let go with nothing. Versus I can take this lump sum of money and be good for about 5 months while I'm trying to find a job. Decided to take a leap of faith. Cockily, I would say, because I was at the time I was like 24. I was just like 24, 25. I was just like, I got 3 degrees. I'm gonna go find something quick. And just flip this money, like take this money that's for about 5 months and make it back in 2. So I got there, took the lump sum of money, took the buyout Rocket, thanked them for that time. It took me 8 months to find an opportunity. I was out here trying to find an opportunity for 8 months, like scratching, clawing. My mom was like, come back and live with me. I'm like, nah, I got to figure this out as a man. I got to make this happen. So it took me 8 months to find an opportunity. With 3 degrees as a black man in this world, it took me 8 months. I got hungry. I was doing bodyguard, security work. I did a little teaching on the side. I worked at Macy's catching shoplifters. I was just doing any and anything because I'm just like, I can't go back to stay with my mom, but I got to figure it out because this gonna either be a breaking point in my life or it's gonna be a point that I remember forever that launches me. 8 months in, found an opportunity. I was talking to a young lady at the time. She worked at a city, and she was like, "Hey, I know the HR director. You want me to just give you her email? You want to reach out?" I'm like, "I'll take it." I reached out, sent a well-detailed email about who I am, all of that. Sent it in. They reached back out like 20 minutes later. I'm like, "What? City that free?" Reached back out. The head HR lady in the city, she reached out. She's like, "I'm gonna get you in contact with one of my counterparts." She got me in contact with her email. She called me back like 2 days later. She's like, "Hey, we're gonna set up a call." We met like a month later, face to face. And she's like, after one conversation, she's like, "You have a space in the city. Like, I'm gonna help you find something. You belong. Your story is powerful. I think you'd be a great fit. I think you would really help push the city forward." She got me in contact with now my current leader. At the time she wasn't, Jasmine Barnes. She got me in contact with her. She's like, "Hey, I think he would be a good asset to your team." And that's how I kind of got to the city. And a little quick aspect of the story, Jasmine was on a different team. She was about to hire me. Then right before I was about to get hired, she's like, "Hey, I took a different job in the city, so sorry. But I still told that department to take you." That department ended up being the General Services Department. Worked there for about 3-4 months. Was there. Jasmine called me back. I was like, "Hey, remember me?" I'm like, "Yeah, I remember you." She was like, "Well, I'm leading this department over here, and I want you a part of my team, and I want you in a higher level role than you were before." I'm like, "Really?" And I took that leap of faith, decided to come over here with her. And long story short, it was just all a part of my story. Like 8 months took me, but now it got me to where I needed to be. So it's just all a matter of time. That's why that poem resonates with me. Just like, be grounded what you am. Because if I gave up in those 8 months, I wouldn't be sitting across from me right now.
Right.
I wouldn't be able to tell certain stories. It's like those 8 months were pivotal for my life.
Yeah, and I love that story and your trajectory to getting here. Not the fact that you had to go through it, but the fact that I feel like that resonates and connects so much with the attitude of what we're about in Detroit. Just really having that hustle to you and being able to have that understanding of, like, I got to make something shake, and this is my make or break moment. So I ain't about to break, so I'm gonna have to make something happen.
Yeah.
And I think that's 100% like what we all about in the city. What people have been able to create magic just with that under those types of levels of pressure, if not more, and still being able to have something magical come out at the end. So speaking of that, I wanted to ask, now that you land with the city of Detroit in the digital media department, having a chance to work on some phenomenal campaigns with some great people, what could you talk to some of the magic that you've been able to create since you've been here and since you've been in that role? Do any moments stick out to you in particular? Any campaigns, any people that you got to meet? Like, what has that been like for you?
Yeah, a campaign that kind of stuck with me and was like a deep aspect of why I even fell in love again while being in the city. Because, you know, being in work can be kind of daunting sometimes, but being in work, you sometimes find your love again. And we had an unfortunate event that happened in Detroit, the Southwest flooding. You probably heard me talk about it last time during the panel discussion. But the Southwest flooding, where that pipe broke, burst in the Southwest area. For me, we had to market it and showcase the work being done to fix it in real time. Like, we had a whole campaign plan for a month in advance for something else. We got to work and we had to throw everything away. Like, hey, Southwest flooding, pipe just broke. We need people on the boots on the ground. We need people there. We need to go attack it. I had to go to hotels where families were staying, kids, family, everything. Had to be staying in a hotel because their homes got flooded. So I'm here in hotels, seeing it in real time action while also marketing it. So I'm there, like, it felt like a newsroom. Like, we were marketing in real time. Like, any updates? How many people got saved? How many, like, real updates, like, in real time? Like, we have our editors editing on scene, like, hey, change our number. It's now, it went from 10 to 20. They fixed it. So in real time, we're trying to like match the news. So social media then turned into the newsroom. We ended up calling it the war room because we were just like boots on the ground there. We had people coming back, shifts, their shoes muddy. Not a batch of people coming in. I had to go on site, like so many different things. And that made me fall in love with my job even more again, because it's just like you saw the impact. Sometimes being behind a desk, being in the office, you don't always see the impact of marketing unless you're there sometimes. But being able to go to these, go to the hotels where the family were staying, being able to go in the Southwest community and see the impact of one pipe, water main breaking, to impacting a family losing their homes, that made me fall in love with that campaign. And that campaign sticks out for me the most because, one, we were able to help the Southwest community, and two, I was able to see the impact that we were making from a marketing standpoint in real time, and seeing those kids like eating boxed lunches and foods. I'm just like, no matter how my day was rough, like long hours, I'm just like, I'm going back to my crib. Like, I'm going back to a place where I don't have to worry about being in a hotel. They don't know when they're going to be outside of this hotel. So that for me was my favorite campaign. It was an unfortunate campaign to be a part of, but that was my favorite one because it also helped to solidify my love for marketing again.
Yeah, and you during that campaign, you got a chance to actually volunteer and service those people at the same time, right?
Not necessarily volunteer, but just be a part of it because I was marketing. Because
Okay.
like I mentioned before, I can't market something I can't see or feel or envision. So for me, getting that chance, it was after hours. It was like when my team did some of the heavy lifting of being on site. So for me, I'm like, after hours where they need someone to go to these hotels and need someone to interview certain interviews, I took that upon myself. I'm like, let me go interview them. I got you. The team did their work. I'm going to be after. So I was there like 7, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock interviewing these people. So for me, it wasn't like necessarily a volunteer because it's a part of my role, but it's also something where I didn't mind spending the extra hours because me saying 3 hours extra after work, these families had to live there. So what am I complaining about 3 extra hours? Like, that was one day of work that impacted a whole community. So, yeah.
Got you. And what has it been like learning, because that's a very important and pivotal moment in Detroit's history in terms of what happened to that area and the way that it happened, because I don't think we've seen anything like that. And if it's happened before, it hasn't necessarily been in my lifetime, not that I can recall. So for you, what has it been like learning the Detroit story and the essence of the city, and then being able to creatively share that story with the different platforms that you all are leveraging?
The Detroit story is one word in compilation for me. It's resilience. Like, y'all did not let anybody else write y'all story. So I can resonate with that because I feel like that's a part of just my makeup as a person. Like, y'all didn't let anyone else define who y'all are. The world was like, Detroit is bummy, Detroit is that, and y'all was like, come to Detroit, see Detroit for itself. Y'all did not let Detroit be defined by the outside noise. Y'all let Detroit be defined by its own people. Like, Detroit is built on resilience. Like, y'all could have gave up so many times. Y'all went bankrupt. There were abandoned buildings here. There were certain things here. Now Detroit's landscape is so booming. Like, we beat out certain number one places for real estate to invest. Now Detroit is getting a whole new kind of riverfront. Now Detroit is getting so many Fortune 500 companies moving to Detroit, trying to get Detroit. Like, it's so many different things where we're competing. Like, Detroit is a part of the future, where a couple of years ago, if you told a Detroiter that, if you told someone from outside of Detroit that, they're like, hell nah.
Yeah.
But if you told a Detroiter that, they were always gonna believe. They're like, it's just like y'all sports teams. Like, y'all sports teams went through a slump, but if you talk to any Detroit fan, they're like, oh, we gonna be back next year. Like you had to have that, like, in a way, delusion, but faith. It's delusion to the outside world, but it's just like faith to everyone from Detroit. So when I came here, I had that perception from the outside. I'm like, I'm kind of iffy about Detroit, because I had a teammate that was from Detroit when I was at Morgan State, and the way he used to talk about Detroit, we like, hell no. Like, he used to hype Detroit up, wear his bus. We like, what are you wearing? He was like, he used to call us my baby. We like, yo, stop calling us that. That's weird. But he used to do that. We were just like, he different. But he was cool. But for our standpoint, we had to kind of learn. So by me coming to Detroit, I had to see it for myself. Like, oh, I see why the passion is here. I see why the grit is here. I see why the pride for the city is here, because y'all have been through so much, and through that, y'all have all stuck together. So the real Detroiters understand the grit. I'm not a real Detroiter. I'm an outsider. So for me, I had to learn it. It wasn't in me. I had to learn it. So from my standpoint, by me helping to market Detroit, by being an outsider, I had to integrate myself in the Detroit community, be a part of different communities, be a part of different circles. So I can like, okay. Because when I first got here, it was like, when I worked at Rocket Mortgage, the pride I always heard was Spartans versus Wolverines. I'm like, I don't care. Like, Morgan State. Like, and they're like, oh, that was the pride. Then I got to the city, the pride was Cass versus Renaissance. I was like, I don't care. I went to 3 different high schools, but I had to like, let me stop saying I don't care. It's more so this is y'all pride and joy. So let me actually accept it and see like, oh, okay, this is why they're prideful.
Yeah.
This is why they're like, this high school is this high school. If you went to Michigan State versus Michigan, like it's like if you go to Jamaica and you talk to any Jamaican, you ask them what's the best school. Me, I'm gonna say Kingston College. If you ask anybody in Jamaica, ask a Jamaican like Kingston College, they'll know what you're talking about, because that's the pride. Like that's one of the number one schools, if not the best school in Jamaica, from a pride standpoint. So in Jamaica, that's like me saying in Jamaica, KC versus Calabar, or KC versus JC. Real Jamaicans will know what I'm talking about. But from the outside world, you're like, what is he talking about? KC, JC, Calabar? And it's similar to Detroit. Like if the outside world, nobody would know like Cass versus Renaissance versus that. So I had to kind of integrate and learn that. So that's why I say it's like Detroit, y'all have its own pride, but to the outside world, y'all, they just catching up. But Detroit has been knew that this was going to be a part of the revamp story.
For sure. And I'll give you a quick cheat sheet as far as what schools actually matter. So University of Michigan, Cass Technical High School. That's it. Them the only 2 that matter.
Here you go. No comment. I got friends on both sides. No comment. My director, she went to Cass, so no comment. She's a proud Cass alumni, so she talks about Cass all the time.
Yep, same here. And University of Michigan. That's them the only 2 you got to remember.
What's y'all slogan? It said Cass.
Number 1, second to none.
Yeah, I hear that so much. So yeah.
Number 1, second to none, and CT fired up. Them the only things you need to know.
Hey,
rest of the high schools,
you ain't gonna get me in trouble today, man. You ain't gonna get me in trouble.
The other schools don't even matter. If somebody tell you they went to another high school,
y'all married to me, man. Yeah. Y'all married to me. I didn't say it. Y'all married to me.
So in terms of the work that you've been doing with the city, I wanted to ask you from a creative standpoint and then just a more tactical standpoint from a marketing perspective, the different platforms. There's a ton of different platforms. Like you said, anything that is going outward facing, that's content, that's created, your team touches it and has a part in that. What could you talk to the people who, I'm thinking about the entrepreneurs or people who have brands or building a personal brand or a business brand, and just talking about the importance of how you create for different mediums of media, whatever that looks like, whether it's social, whether it's a website, whether it's print or anything like that. Just wondering, like, how does the city approach that, and is there any tips and tricks you've learned that's helpful?
Yeah, so we approach it in a couple of ways. So one, we're very metrics based, very metric heavy. Like we use a system called Sprout Social, where it helps us to analyze what's performing well, what's not, like engagement versus likes versus shares versus viewers. So for us, metrics kind of determine a lot, but also each app has its own algorithm. Like being on TikTok, the algorithm is very much different than Instagram, Facebook. And then also another aspect is the target demographic. We all know if you have Facebook, who's on Facebook? The aunties, the uncles, your aunts, your sister, like the older generations on Facebook. Of course, there's still a younger audience, but if you ask any older, I don't like calling people old, any seasoned person, they're just like, they probably have a Facebook versus having an Instagram or TikTok. Now TikTok is coming a little bit up where now the more seasoned demographic have TikTok. But when you have to look at the marketing from that standpoint, so from a strategic standpoint, the one central app that most people have compared to everything else is Instagram. Okay, so that's your bread and butter. You always got to market to Instagram. After that, you have TikTok, you have Facebook. Those are niche apps where not everyone has it, but they cross over. Then after that, let's now go another step. You have X, where it's not always visually appealing, but it's more compelling to write or type. Like you're typing content. Like you're not necessarily having to post a picture, but a tweet can sometimes do bigger numbers on X than pictures or videos. Then let's now go past that. LinkedIn, Nextdoor. Nextdoor is more niche towards target demographics. Okay, let's go to LinkedIn. LinkedIn is now a more professional-based content app. Like if you're trying to get your next opportunity, trying to find your next resource, you're going to LinkedIn versus going to Facebook. So then, okay, let's go past that. Threads, Blue Sky, and Snapchat. Snapchat in some industries is dead. While Snapchat in some industries, if you're going to content creation industry, Snapchat, they're making millions of dollars on Snapchat. Mm-hmm. So in one aspect, Snapchat is dead to some audiences, but on certain content creators, Snapchat is where they make most of their money. So you just got to find your niche. Now you look at Threads and Blue Sky. Threads and Blue Sky are new upcoming apps where they can kind of hit if you figure out the mechanism to push them. So you have to figure out the base point of each app and what each point app is used for. So once you figure that out, that's the ground root of the foundation. Then after that, you have to figure out what is my brand. Our brand is government. Our brand is Engage Detroit. What aspect of Detroiters are on these apps? We have to see where our follower ratio are. We have to see where our engagement are in these apps. Bread and butter, Instagram. So we're gonna mass produce for Instagram. Next bread and butter, Facebook, X, TikTok. We have to produce sparingly for that, but in a niche way. After that is LinkedIn and these other platforms. We have to then target market. You can't push out one content to go on all these platforms because not all these platforms algorithms soak up that content. Of course, we figured out certain algorithms like, okay, social media likes visually appealing things, but on certain apps they don't care about the high production like. I'm gonna just give you an example. On TikTok, TikTok doesn't care about a well-edited clip. You can post a raw clip on TikTok, you in your car just ranting, that goes viral. You do the same thing on like Instagram, you might not get the same aspect. Basically, you can. Not to say you can't. You can, but it may not always do as well. Mm-hmm. Instagram loves sometimes the high edited content, like the filters, the twist, all that. And on Facebook is a toss-up. Sometimes Facebook love it, sometimes it doesn't. The algorithm on Facebook changes very often, but one thing that doesn't change is the demographic. It's an older demographic. They like content that's going to inform them, content that's going to educate them. So if you're trying to put a resource base, like, hey, I'm having a resource panel, I'll push that on Facebook because Facebook, that's where the audience is. Like they're going watching their cable channels, they're going to their Facebook. My nephew, my grandson on Facebook, that's where they're going. So you have to figure out each app. You have to figure out each app in totality to see how you can fully target market. Once you figure it out, you then have to analyze your brand. Our brand is government. Your brand might be podcast. Your brand might be clothing. You have to figure out what each demographic from those apps want. You might have a TikTok shop if your brand audience is closed. You might not have a TikTok shop on LinkedIn. They might not have a clothing shop on LinkedIn because that's not where your audience is going for. So that's kind of how we analyze it and see what's working, what's not working. But then at the same time, here's the thing that people don't talk about. Strategy changes. The algorithm changes. So we may go into it with that, and then 3 months in, the algorithm shifts. We're like, ooh, we got to shift with it. That's one of the things where in certain aspects, you had to kind of target posts and kind of shift with the time. So for us, like we might have been producing content across all platforms, then we had to realize we had to shift. So it's really fine-tuning marketing, messaging, metrics, and also engagement aspects.
Now you said Instagram was the bread and butter for the city. Why is that the case?
That's where we have the most followers. On the top of my head, I believe we have 170,000 followers. You can fact check me, but in my top of my head, that's the number I have. But yeah, that's where we have the most followers across any platform. Our Instagram platform has probably the most followers combined with all our apps. So Instagram is why not target to the masses. For most people, that's where the masses, that's where everybody lives. So that's where we need to hit.
And do you have a personal favorite social media platform?
For me, I use Instagram the most. For me, Instagram is probably my favorite. Because I don't have a Facebook. I have a Facebook just for work to be able to log into Facebook. But for me, Instagram and more recently TikTok. Mm-hmm. But TikTok, I like it because it's just like funny stuff. But Instagram probably is my favorite app right now.
Are you a millennial or Gen Z?
Yeah, it depends. 96, 96, 96,
I
96.
think either you're an old millennial or you're a young. I mean, either you're an old Gen Z or you're a young millennial.
Yeah,
Somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Okay, so you a tweener.
yeah.
Okay, because I was gonna ask, because millennials, I'm a millennial. We love Instagram, and that's like we literally came up with Instagram, and then so people a little bit younger, their thing could be either Snap or TikTok usually.
Yeah, I'm not. I have a Snap. I literally don't use it, but
Okay.
I have a Snap. But TikTok, I use it every now and then. But Instagram is probably. It's not probably. Instagram's my bread and butter. But more recently, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is just like the older I've gotten, I'm just like I'm trying to learn something. So Instagram is cool, and then an app that nobody talks about because people don't really call it social media. YouTube.
Yeah,
Like I'm big on YouTube. Like I'm like if I need to learn something, like watch this video real quick. Like YouTube. So those are for me. It'd be Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, TikTok.
And YouTube TikTok is now starting to become somewhat like YouTube because people YouTube has shorts and they adopted shorts, kind of copying TikTok. But TikTok, that's because TikTok started doing longer form, and then people get on there teaching as if they were on YouTube. So it's kind of like a more streamlined version of YouTube sometimes, because for a period of time, for like a year and a half, if I want to learn something, I stopped going to YouTube. I went on TikTok and like, well, how does this thing work, or what does this camera do, and what these filters do, that type of stuff. And so like the platforms start to copy and mirror each other after a while. So I wanted to see if I could test your knowledge real quick. If someone wanted to, because like you heavy on Instagram for work and personal, it seemed like, do you have any tips for someone who wanted to scale their brand, their social media brand on Instagram, if they want to scale their page or if they wanted to enhance their page, so to speak? Do you have any tips for them on how they could do that?
Yeah, and enhance it by making sure your Instagram has some type of cohesion. Like I should be able to go on your page and your feed and see some type of, okay, this is his tone, this is his brand. Okay, this is the color palette, or this is the type of content. Sometimes you go on someone's page, it's like, what's the goal here? Like, it's just all over the place. Like, you don't know what's going on. So for us, like, that's one of the things I would tell anyone that's when you're building an Instagram. Like, Instagram is basically your wall art. Like, your bio down to what posts you have, what videos you have, should be some type of cohesiveness where, like, this is their brand. Like you can be able to tell your brand if that's your goal. If your goal is just to post, do as you please. If your goal is to build a brand, build an audience, build a clientele where your clients know what to expect, it should have some type of cohesion in the brand tone and brand like symmetrics. Like for us, that's one thing that we kind of look at is just like, how is the brand being perceived? Like if you go to the page, you should be able to like, okay, that's the city's video. If you go to your page, you should be like, okay, that's one of his videos. Like, it should be that type of ask. I'm not telling you to put a logo in every video, but I'm telling you to build some type of rapport with your audience, because it's one of those things where people, familiarity builds like sales. Familiarity builds consistency. So for you, if you're consistent with your familiarity, your audience knows what to expect. So from your standpoint, if you go to your Instagram and go to your social media, your audience is going to start to gravitate and expect it. It's going to become a part of their palette. They're just like, ooh, I know this is his video. Let me click on this. Ooh, I knew this. Ooh, let me click on that. So for me, that's one of those things where you have to kind of build that rapport. Of course, when you first start out, it's going to be a little rough. But when you start getting that traction, people going to automatically expect it. Now, say if you post every Friday, one Friday you don't miss, you should have people hitting you up. What happened? Like, should be a consistency where people expect that from you. So you expect that brand. So on your Instagram, they know on every Friday they know a post is coming. So that's how it should be.
Love that. That's very, very sound and helpful advice. So appreciate that.
No problem.
And so, Alex, tell us what's coming up with the city. I know y'all got a couple of things going on, especially that relates to creatives and that your department is a part of. So let us know what's upcoming in the city we should be on the lookout for.
Upcoming for the city that you should be looking out is a Film Detroit outreach event happening September 10th at AB Ford. So it's an event catered to helping filmmakers, Detroit-based filmmakers, high schoolers, college, nonprofits get your content on the Detroit channels, on the Detroit cable channels. For us, we're giving filmmakers the opportunity to get their channels, get their content on the channels, showcasing Detroit, showcasing what Detroit has to offer, whether you're a young up-and-coming filmmaker, whether you're a high school filmmaker, whether you're a college filmmaker, whether like you're a professional filmmaker, but getting your content on Detroit's city platforms. And that's an outreach program that we're catered to, like providing how you get the content up, how you go to the procurement, and how do you go to the license, how you go to certain things. And that program would just be from 4 to 7 at AB Ford, and just be catered to helping Detroit filmmakers get their content up on the City of Detroit channels.
Very interesting that you say that, because we are actually filming this podcast. And, just so I guess you could consider me a filmmaker in the city. How do I get on the city platforms?
Come to the outreach, come to the outreach, speak to one of our representatives, and kind of gain that full knowledge. So that's something one of my colleagues, she's leading. So I want to take her shine. I want her to get as much shine as possible. I'm a big believer in not ever overstepping or taking anyone else's shine, especially that she's been working it. She reports to me, of course, but she's been the one diligently working. I've just been making sure the liaison between certain things. But I think she'll be there. She'll be there leading a presentation. Also, for individuals that can't come on site, we have Follow the Film Detroit pages on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. It's Film Detroit 313. And then for individuals that also can't make it, we'll be live streaming a part of the presentation as well.
Dope. And so what's next for Alex? What do you have going on in the pipeline? Any things that you want to manifest here on the podcast?
Next for Alex is just opportunities, taking advantage of opportunities, whether they may be here, elsewhere, but taking advantage of opportunities. For me, this is a pivotal stage in my life where opportunities are going to be coming, and I just need to be ready. Like for me, preparation breeds readiness. So it's just like for me, I don't want to be behind the curveball when the opportunity comes. So that's me locking in on my professional brand, my personal brand, like me locking in on my relationship with God, like me locking in on certain aspects where I just want to be ready for the next opportunity, because being an only child to a mother, I don't want her to be working too long. Like I'm trying to get her up out of there. Like that's the long-term goal. So with that opportunity, I want to take advantage of being able to help her as quickly as possible. So I don't want to be that man working till I'm 60. I really don't. I'm trying to be on the beach eating some mangoes. Like I'm trying to be on the beach eating some mangoes. My mom at the crib, like watching her cooking her pastries, cooking her things. So for me, opportunities just, I don't know what it may be, but just being ready for the next opportunity.
Love that. And where can the people follow you if they want to tap in? And then also, could you give us the city's social media pages if they want to stay connected with everything that you all are putting out?
So I'm always promote the city first. So going first, I go through City of Detroit, Instagram, social media, all the different social medias is City of Detroit. That's where we have LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Nextdoor, Threads, Blue Sky, Snapchat, TikTok, YouTube. Like we have all 11 platforms. So follow us on City of Detroit. That's where you can get all your updates to engage the Detroit public. And then from a personal standpoint, my personal Instagram is NSAlex. I have also a poetry page, NSAlex_poetry. Those are two of my platforms. Those are only two platforms I currently hold. I'm not big on, even I work in social media, I try to keep social media limited. So for me, I'm also on TikTok at NSAlex, but those are the three platforms I currently hold. So those are where you see my personal brands. You can follow me on LinkedIn as well, but that's more from a professional standpoint.
For sure. Well, Alex, man, this has been dope. Really appreciate you coming on the podcast, sharing your personal story, and then also your journey to Detroit. And we're grateful to be able to adopt you as a Detroiter now. So you've been had the stamp. You don't need it from me, but it's definitely got my approval as well. And we appreciate how you put on for the city, the work that you're doing with the city, and just your appreciation and love for the people here. We're grateful.
I do want to say one thing, though. It's a team effort. So I appreciate the kudos for myself, but my team is diligent in the work that they put in. Like everyone across the board, from our external services to our social media team, like to our copy center, the City of Detroit Media Services Department spends a lot of tireless hours put in, and I just want to make sure they get their just due. I know I'm in this position, but I'm in this position for the right reason, but I'm also just an advocate for my team members because they're the ones sometimes going to these long hours. They're the ones sometimes being at the shoots. I'm the one reviewing it, making sure everything is right from a messaging standpoint, but they're there every day. External team, they're setting up the AV equipment. My social team is on the ground, following the mayor, following everyone that they need to. I just want to make sure they get their full shutout because it's a full team effort, but I do appreciate the support.
Oh, for sure. And then the work, and I'm glad that you said that because it shows in terms of the work that the whole team puts in because I told you that has not been the case over the years. So it's completely different vibe nowadays. So it definitely shows as far as the team. So shout out to all the folks that you work with and are connected to in that space as well. The city appreciates it.
I appreciate the city as well, man. What up, though, Detroit?
What up, though? Everybody listening, watching, we're going to tap in with y'all soon. Peace.